Good afternoon. Welcome to TNC Radio.live. This is the Truckers Network radio show. And now here's your host, Shelley Johnson.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. Yes, this is the Truckers Network radio show on TNC Radio.live, where we offer the news, sports, traffic, weather, information, and entertainment our commercial drivers want and need. Who doesn't love a good truck show, especially when it's for a good cause? The 41st annual 10-4 magazine Truckin For Kids charity truck show is coming up in September 11th at the Irwindale Speedway in California. It's an event for the entire family, and it raises money for Shriners Hospitals for Children. The Shriners Children's Hospital healthcare system is world-renowned, with facilities in 3 different countries. It offers care for kids up to the age of 18 and specialty pediatric services in a family-centered environment, regardless of the family's ability to pay. Truckin For Kids is going to be a whole lot of fun, and it's going to be for this great cause. The event features big rig drag racing, a show and shine competition, silent auction, burnout contest, vendor booths, and a 9/11 tribute to our first responders. There's a whole lot going on. We wanted to learn more, so we have John Testa, media administrator and sales manager for 10-4 magazine, with us today. Welcome, John. Thank you for being on the show with us.
Well, thank you, Shelley. And I don't know if I can hold up to Tom's resonance there over the microphone. I hope I hold a candle to it.
Oh, you sound terrific.
All right, good deal. Well, thanks for having me on the show, and of course, thanks for bringing Truckin For Kids on to the onto your show and sharing with your audience. We appreciate you.
Well, this is a great event. How did it all start? I thought we could start with maybe some of the history. It's been going on for 41 years. So
oh, you bet. Terrific. Well, it's a great story. 10-4 magazine's been around for quite a while and involved with Truckin For Kids. And I'm gonna fast forward, and then I'm gonna roll back a little bit. But this will be the 41st annual, and this is our first year of ownership and running the show. So we're taking the torch and running with it. The longtime operators of the show, Frank and Diane, who everybody knows that has ever been to the Truckin For Kids shows over the years, and it has been at many locations throughout its lifespan and different venues. So it seems Irwindale is the one where it always kind of lands back at, and that's where we're back at Irwindale Speedway again this year, and this is our first year running it. So it's been challenging. We've certainly gotten educated and learned along the way what it takes to put a truck show on. And honestly, one of my thoughts when I first got involved with 10-4 was, gosh, we got to get a truck show. And for the most part, everybody else is like, no way, we're not doing a truck show. And here we are. Yet here we are. So I think it was inevitable. And everybody in Southern California, which is kind of the backyard home area for 10-4 magazine. It's where it started and where its roots are at. It was just such a great fit. 10-4 has been there all these years, like I said, with Truckin For Kids as a supporter and donator and anything that could possibly be done to help the show along. 10-4 has been there to do that. So going back though some years from to the beginning, was some folks got together down in Southern California and wanted to raise money for kids, and these guys were all a bunch of at that time, I guess you can kind of call them the outlaw truckers of the days, and some of them just the regular guys that own trucking companies, and they put themselves together and created what they call now Truckin For Kids, and started raising money and putting it into places where it was needed. And 40 some years later, finally, after I interviewed Frank and Diane at their last show last year, for them it was just time to retire. They'd given all they had to give. They kind of reached a point where it needed to change hands and go somewhere else where somebody had energy that could take it and bring it into the next, decade or 2 or 4. So that's us. That's 10-4 magazine and Truckin For Kids. We created our own charity to take over Truckin For Kids, and what I mean by that is we created our own nonprofit, and that way we kind of have a clean start with the show, and yet still has the same name, same kind of vibe, same kind of scenario, same venue, all of that. And we've chosen Shriners Hospitals for Children to be the benefactor of all of our efforts. So all the money made going to go to Shriners Hospitals. I mean, obviously, we're going to cover costs with everything that we bring in, and then net proceeds are going to go on over to Shriners. In fact, our two principal coordinators of the show, Dan Linz and Tim Sieben, are both going to be any minute out of wherever they're at and on their way to Shriners to do an actual physical tour of the Children's Hospital down in Southern California today.
Terrific.
So lots going on. I mean, I can keep on going. You have any questions you want to throw at me, have at it, or else I'll just keep rattling.
Well, I was just going to say the Shriners Children's Hospital is certainly a wonderful choice. I'm familiar with it because my dad was a Mason and he was a Shriner, and he used to contribute every year to that hospital system. So I grew up knowing about it, you know.
There's so many pieces and parts to Shriners, and I'm going to jump off just for a second here. Locally in my area where I live, Shriners is a big supporter, and a lot of people love supporting Shriners. And one of my favorite parts, and we're hoping these folks show up at the Truckin For Kids event. They are going to be there. Shriners are going to be there, but one of the parts is their motor brigade that they have. I don't know, how many of y'all have ever seen these guys, and they have different versions of them depending on where you're at.
Sure.
Our local guys, the motor brigade, they have little go-karts, and they show up at parades all over the place. And where I'm at in Folsom, California, and that's where the prison's at. In fact, I hear the lunch whistle every day at noon at my house go off from the prison. It's an ongoing thing, been going on for years. We have a November 11th Veterans Day parade every year. No matter what day the Veterans Day falls on, it's on November 11th. Well, these guys locally, they show up and they do their motor brigade thing, where they run through the parade for however long it goes, and they run their go-karts. Somebody broke in and stole these guys' go-karts last week.
Oh, no.
Can you believe it? I mean, it's just a freaking amazing, stupid, rotten thing to have happen. Stole all their go-karts. So rotten things out there. Whatever possesses guys to do that. I mean, it's not like, I don't know. Anyway, you talk about Shriners, and for me, I have this local connection to it. Very sad, very disturbing that stuff like that goes on. But, I hope these guys get through it. And listen, guys, if you're listening today out there, you got my support, and we've been trying to share locally around here to get people to keep their eyes out and try to help them out. So something good, I hope, will happen of everything we've been trying to do. But the Shriners in Southern California is going to be the benefactor of our show down there. We're going to have kids from the hospital on site on Sunday, representatives, obviously, from the hospital on site. And again, I'm hoping that they have a local motor brigade that makes it out there for our event. So let's talk. In fact, how you running on time? Are we up against our first segment? We
have about 2 minutes if you wanted to give us maybe a little bit of a preview of the show, because this sounds like a total blast.
Well, it's going to be. So first of all, it's on September 11th. So who doesn't know that date? Probably the second date in our country's history that'll live in infamy. So September 11th, 2022, this year will be our show date. And we right now, and through the show today, I want to let people know, if you're planning on coming and being in the show and shine or racing, either one, pre-register. Go to the truckinforkids.org or 104magazine.com. We have a TFK. Literally, it says TFK at the top of the website on a tab. Click on it and get pre-registered. This is the first year that the registration and everything as far as getting our people in is going to work the way that it does. Pre-registration is key to it. You get pre-registered, you bring your phone, which everybody's got one, and show it to the guys at the gate. They scan it, you're in. That's it, done. So no more bottlenecking at the gate to get in, we hope, and we want to get guys in there. We've got a team that once you're rolling in are going to get you parked and set up. But pre-registration is key to that. The other part of pre-registration that's really cool is that with pre-registration, we've got what we're calling our sponsors bonus buckets. And these bonus buckets are going to pre-registered people only. If you don't pre-register, you're not going to get one. You're going to have to buy one because we've got a couple hundred of these buckets. But we're cutting off pre-registration, I think, around 150 entrants. So, and this is just the show and shine, okay? So get that done and get your bonus bucket. The bonus bucket's going to have a couple of $100 worth of products and promotional items in it that's going to be just given to you if you've pre-registered. And we're not giving any of the little, hotel size sample packs of anything. These are full size retail products that are going to be given away in the bonus buckets to guys that pre-register. So that's a huge, big, important thing to do. Go to the website. It's super easy. Click on Truckin For Kids, TFK, and it'll bring that up, and you'll be able to get yourself in there. If you're racing, you need to pre-register too. We want you to get pre-registered, and racing is going to be the big, huge focus, I think, Sunday, that probably not like any other time we've done in the past. We've got people coming from Canada. We've got people coming from all across the country. We've got guys coming up from Mexico. I think that there's been some shots fired, and guys are responding. So game on there, super drags and regular street drags and pickups. So we've got that as well in this mix. It's not just big rigs. We've got pickups out there that are racing too.
Excellent.
So super drags, though, man, we've got some big hitters coming in to the super drags this time around.
Well, I wanted to cover all of the different festivities and activities. This sounds like a blast, and it's for a great cause. But we do have to go to commercial break here, John. We're talking with John Testa. He's the media administrator and sales manager for 10-4 magazine about the Truckin For Kids truck show that's coming up in September, on September 11th. You're listening to the Truckers Network radio show here on TNCradio.live. Stay tuned for more coming up.
Tips for starting your own trucking company. If you want to start your own trucking company, there are many things to consider. The Truckers Network has put together a list of tips for starting your own trucking company that'll help you get going in the right direction. Have a business plan. Pick a name for your trucking company. Perform a trademark search online to make sure your name's available. Select your target market. Targeting the right market is critical when starting a trucking company. Becoming a special carrier can help you avoid some competition. It could also help you increase your sales opportunities. Make some important decisions. Come up with your rates. Decide if you want to be an owner-operator, and will you do short hauls or long hauls. Know the legal requirements. You must have a valid CDL, commercial driver's license, and if you're going to be an owner-operator, you'll need to follow the terms of the FMCSA. That's the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. And you must use United States Department of Transportation and Motor Carrier Authority numbers. That's the USDOT and MC. The USDOT number tracks your safety records and regulatory compliance. The MC number, also known as Operating Authority, classifies your trucking company and the cargo you can carry. To get these numbers, you'll need to register your trucking business with the FMCSA. Get trucking insurance and register with the UCR system after getting your USDOT and MC numbers. Apply for an IFTA. That's an International Fuel Tax Agreement permit. This permit allows your business to get one fuel license, and the rule says you can file fuel tax returns 4 times a year in the state your business is based in. There's several more permits and forms I didn't mention that you'll need based on where you plan to drive and the goods you intend to carry. The FMCSA is a great place to learn more. Funding your trucking business. In most cases, starting a new trucking company takes between $10,000 and $30,000. Keep in mind that this doesn't include buying a semi-truck, only paying the down payment on one. There are many factors that go into the decision of whether or not to buy a new truck or a used truck. If you decide to get a used truck, be sure to thoroughly inspect it, and I would even recommend having a diesel mechanic take a look. Insuring your business assets. A trucking insurance company that specializes in commercial vehicles is the best place to turn to. You can also consult the FMCSA to gain some understanding of what type of trucking insurance is right for you. Another great source of information is trucking forums and social media communities on Facebook. Prepare your truck for the road. Decals displaying your USDOT number, the company's registered name, and your radio frequency ID tags must be displayed on your truck. Don't forget license or international registration plates. You'll also need to install an FMCSA registered and compliant electronic logging device. It's called an ELD. These steps are just a brief overview of starting your own trucking company. The Truckers Network has some great articles that you can read to learn more about trucking in general. And when you become a member, you'll get some great discounts to help you save money so more of your profit stays in your pocket.
Hey, rideshare drivers and gig economy workers, the host of TNC Radio.live, the Rideshare Rodeo Podcast, and the Gig Economy Podcast come together for news, talk, music, stories, laughs, and more. We're live Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, right here on TNC Radio.live.
Welcome back to the Truckers Network radio show on TNC Radio.live. I'm Shelley Johnson with Tom Kelly. We're talking with John Testa. He's the media administrator and sales manager for 10-4 magazine. We're talking about the 41st annual Truckin For Kids truck show that they're running, which benefits the Shriners Children's Hospitals. It's at the Irwindale Speedway this year in California. John, you got a ton of things at this truck show to watch and do. How about we go into detail on all of that?
Sure, let's talk about it. So obviously it's Truckin For Kids and it's truck drags and show and shine. So those are the two big things that are going on, as well as a silent auction, burnout contest, and the vendor booths, of course, that are going to be there, who are the backbone of support that kind of help make things happen. 9/11 tribute tour to our tribute to our veterans, first responders, those kinds of people. The show and shine itself, I mean, we're doing pretty basic, simple show and shine, bring what you got and let's have a look at it. We're reducing what's been done in the past a little bit as far as how many different classes there were in the past. And we want to kind of make it a simpler process. We're not trying to exclude anybody. We just want to trim it down a little bit. The big rig drag racing itself, we've got several different classes in there, really the super drags, street class and street stock basically. And there's going to be pickups in there as well. And the street stock guys, those are, cab overs, conventionals, whatever you got, doesn't matter. The super drags, these are the guys that they're actually running drags all the time. That's what they do with these trucks. And if you see the promo that we've got that we've been sharing out there on our Facebook page, and incidentally, you can take a look at that over at Truckin For Kids on Facebook. You'll see on there the winners from last year, and that's the V Brothers Racing and Oscar and Henry Velasquez. They are in that A model Kenworth there that's blowing coal out the top as it's running down the 8th mile in Irwindale. And then our best of show winner last year is on there for the show and shine. And CG Souza, who's got a show of his own that he does now every year that's a benefit show. And he was there last year, parked right next to our booth. That's something else that you'll see at our show that really makes the show and shine special. And you're going to see a lot of 10-4 cover trucks. Typically we get celebrities in and around our booth where we set up at. And this year, I think we're going to kind of keep it similar or alike. I'm not sure, honestly, because Dan and Tim, who are our two main, factoring guys that are running this thing, they just finished up layout last night. And I understand that they've got the vendors laid out. They've got most of everything else put together. I'm not sure how it's all going to come together, but typically 10-4 and the Truckin For Kids 53-foot Kentucky van that's on site are kind of close in proximity to each other. I think we're going to keep that same arrangement. And that van now is ours because we bought Truckin For Kids. So we intend to have some great trucks parked around us during the show. The burnout contest, well, I mean, not much to say about that, just exactly what it is. Get a truck out there and light those tires up and smoke them until they blow, I guess. So it can happen, and it does. Just Depends on what the guys want to do. So if
And
they
the
want to
crowd
let
goes
it go,
wild, right?
oh man, it's crazy. I'll tell you. There's been some great burnout contests over the years, and not at this show that I can recall. Okay, so this is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, going to be, if not the first, one of the first times that we're going to have this. It's going to be the first time for us because it's the first time our show, but I've never seen a burnout contest at Truckin For Kids. I think this is the first time around. So a lot of favorites, guys that show up year after year after year that participate both in the show and shine and in the drags. So, we got Papa Vic Kaliva's polishing coming in, of course, with his hot rod pickup truck, and he always does really well with that. And so Mark Tarasco, who's got an old Pete 359 transfer, still has the dump body on the back of it that he runs every year. And Mark's done very well with that truck over the years. So I look forward to seeing that one out there on the track, as well as the super drag guys like Velasquez brothers that are going to be out there again this year too. Coming in from Canada, though, we might have a ringer.
Yeah.
We've got a gentleman, Mario Manette, coming in from Canada this year. He's on the road right now. In fact, he's hitting tracks on the way, kind of stringing along till the point he gets to our track and our race and our show. He's running a super drag that he says is going to do some damage out there, and he's thrown several shots across the bow, if you will, to the guys down in SoCal and all over. And he says, bring one, bring all, and get out there, because he's ready to show everybody how it's done. Now, Mario's going to do something that's really unique and I know hasn't been done before. You can actually win a chance to get a ride in his truck going down the track.
Ooh, sweet.
So he's going to have basically a raffle. Buy a ticket, get drawn. If you win, you get to go down the track, one of his passes during the day in his truck. So this is going to be something that's going to be a lot of fun. While I'm on the subject of auctions and raffles, we've got a silent auction, which is definitely a big part of our show. I want to mention some of the folks that are involved in that, and that's Dynaflex, of course, is a big exhaust intake company, Dynaflex Products. They've donated a $4,000 chrome air intake. Roll-On Customs has donated a PDI engine tuner. Roll-On Customs has also donated 2 sets of their billet lug nut covers. All of these items, they're anywhere from $500 to $4,000 in value, and the list goes on. Lifetime nut covers, Totally Custom Woodwork is donating a TFK truck and trailer. This guy hand carves and produces replicas of trucks and trailers out there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he'll be donating that. Valley Chrome Plating. Everybody out in this area in the neck of the woods knows Valley Chrome, and they've been around for years and a huge supporter and partner of 10-4, as well as everybody else here. It's like when these companies, as soon as they come out and they start getting involved in stuff and they go into business and they find out that we're out there, we kind of connect. These are our people. Vanderswag Customs, polished stainless steel mirror brackets. And these are custom brackets that are manufactured by these guys for your truck, value almost $1,000 for mirror brackets. Anyway, The list goes on. We're figuring we've got about anywhere of $12,000 to $15,000 worth of items that are involved in the silent auction. So if you know how a silent auction works, you put in your bid, and then the winning bid gets, of course, revealed later for each item, and if yours is the highest, then you win it. Obviously, we're taking cash donations. The idea here is to raise $50,000 this year. To donate $50,000 is where we want to at least kind of start our first year in this thing, and I'm hoping we can get there. We've got some great people working with us. The NTA is our other presenting sponsor, as well as 10-4 magazine. So we're all kind of putting our money where our mouth is too at this thing. And all of us at 10-4 are donating our time and our resources to make Truckin For Kids happen. I know that you're like, well, you are Truckin For Kids. Well, Yeah, but nobody's getting paid. This is not a fundraiser for 10-4 magazine by any means whatsoever. Everything goes to Truckin For Kids. So what we're doing is we're trying to do the best job possible we can to make a super successful fundraiser for Shriners Hospitals and the kids involved with Shriners Hospitals. Our vendors booths, obviously, I think we've got some 25 to 30 vendor booths. You're going to have a lot of our sponsors that I've just mentioned. They're going to be out there in booths as well as others. Mm-hmm. And you'll be able to find out who they are, where they are, what they are, how to get a hold of them, how to get involved with them, how to get their products. People are going to have product for sale there at the show. And if you're going down there to go buy stuff, because that's kind of where you can get some of the best deals sometimes.
Sure.
Come on down for it. That's a great thing to do.
Well, I imagine a lot of the drivers are going to think they're a kid in a candy store with all the vendors and everything. That's half the fun too,
Well, and you know what? I mean, there's going to be food. There's going to be a beer garden kind of area down there. I mean, there's a lot going on. So I think we're running up against another 2-minute warning or so. Where are we at?
Well, we could go to break here if you'd like. Before we do, I wanted to ask, how do you know somebody's won the burnout contest?
That's a great question. Now, I have not got the absolute on that. I'm going to think that's going to be a crowd deal, like biggest applause kind of thing.
Okay. I didn't know if it was the biggest cloud or what.
Well, I think that's got to have something to do with it, because the biggest cloud, 2 or 4 pop tires, however many you got back there, is probably going to help your cause. Yeah. Right. So we'll find out. But I think that's probably where we're going with that. It's going to be crowd participation and certainly from the looks and sounds of things, how it goes. I mean, these tires, when they blow, they don't just pop, they don't just go poof, these things explode.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal, and sometimes they even catch on fire, but you got to be careful that we keep everybody safe, and we got a fire crew and everything there, so we're on top of it. But it can happen, so I'm not saying it will, but I'm not saying it won't.
Sure. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. Everybody needs to attend this in September. We do have to go to break. We're talking with John Testa. He's the media administrator and sales manager for 10-4 magazine about their 41st annual Truckin For Kids truck show that benefits the Shriners Children's Hospital's health system. You're listening to the Truckers Network radio show here on tncradio.live. Stay tuned for more coming up. The best GPS for truck drivers. Although there's several GPS apps, it's better for truck drivers to rely on a system that's specifically geared toward their type of work. Smartphone apps lack the ability to show truckers the roads that are inaccessible to trucks. Buying the right GPS for trucking can be tricky and overwhelming. To save you from tons of research and reading reviews, the Truckers Network has listed the best GPS devices for truck drivers in 2020. Check out their website. Here's a brief list. Garmin Diesel 580 LMTS. The Garmin Diesel 580 LMTS is an easy-to-use GPS with hands-free Bluetooth and built-in Wi-Fi. It features customized truck routing for the size and weight of your truck. It also provides helpful predictive route warnings for dangerous curves, steep grades, bridge heights, weight limits, and more. You can find nearby hotels, restaurants, and parking with their easy brake planning. This GPS is truly made for the long haul. Other features include customized truck routing, built-in directory of truck and trailer services, easy brake planning, and service history log. The TomTom Trucker 620. The TomTom Trucker 620 is a 6-inch GPS navigation device that allows you to get the most out of your driving time. The TomTom Trucker 620 can connect by Wi-Fi, and that lets you update without a computer. It makes calling and messaging easier by providing hands-free calling and smartphone services. It also provides free real-time traffic updates and truck maps throughout North America. Other features include battery lifetime up to an hour. It reads messages out loud from a smartphone. It's compatible with Siri and Google Now. It has customized truck routing. The Garmin Drive Smart 61 LMTS. This Garmin device makes trucking much easier. The Navigator features a collection of smart features, in addition to easy-to-follow instructions and helpful driver alerts. It also provides hands-free calling, live traffic information, and built-in Wi-Fi. With this GPS device, all you have to do is look up and drive. Other features include voice-activated navigation, Bluetooth calling, select live parking, and a rechargeable lithium-ion battery that lasts up to an hour.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Claire Dunn, and you're listening to TNC Radio.live.
Welcome back to the Truckers Network radio show on TNC Radio.live. I'm Shelley Johnson with Tom Kelly, and we're talking with John Testa. He's the media administrator and sales manager for 10-4 magazine about their 41st annual Truckin For Kids truck show that benefits the Shriners Children's Hospitals. It's at the Irwindale Speedway this year in September. Oh, gosh, John, you've been super busy. What is 10-4 magazine doing to make this event happen? I'm sure you haven't had a day to sit down and just relax.
Shelley, I'll tell you, 10-4 is doing everything, and right now there's a real core group of folks, about 4 of them, that are really the heartbeat and getting this thing done, and that's Dan and Shannon Linz and Tim and April Stevens, and they're kind of at the head of 10-4 and, of course, Truckin For Kids. And right now, in fact, as I said earlier in our first top of the hour segment there, Dan and Tim are in Southern California doing press check for the magazine for the next edition. And then this afternoon, they're going to be at the Shriners Hospital doing a walkthrough to really get the whole hands-on, down to your bone, soul, and heart feel for what it is that we're all working so hard to help support. So those are the 2 guys that are working the hardest right now. Now the rest of us, all hands on deck come September 11th at the show. Actually, September 10th. Most of us are going to all be there down in Irwindale. In fact, I think we'll all be down there. We've got several of our contributors that work with us on a regular basis. They're going to be coming in. Got to have people there to cover the show, including myself, which, normally at a truck show anywhere, if I'm there, I'm live streaming the show to our audience who can't be there. So as I've done in the past, we're going to try to do that this year at Truckin For Kids. My responsibilities are pretty scattered, and I'm getting thinner here. And not that I couldn't afford to lose some weight, but unfortunately, that's not the way it's going. I'm getting thinner in time, and I've been asked to sit in with the voice of Irwindale Speedway, and I've never met him, and I don't know his name, but I've just kind of been told that's who he is, and I'm going to be a color commentator for some of the drag racing on Sunday. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, that's going to be a first for me. I'm looking forward to that. That's kind of exciting. And then hopefully I'll get some time to get out there and do some live streaming. So our live stream, as our audience knows that has been following us for the last, 5 years that we've been doing this now, it's multi-camera production. It's only gotten better over the years, and we hope to be able to do more of that from Irwindale this year. And in case anybody wants to know and wants to have a look at any of our past events, go to our Facebook page and look under live streams, live videos, whatever pops up on your screen first. And I've got most of it categorized as to what show and when. And you can look back at any of this stuff and you can see what show, where, when, all of that, and have an opportunity to see what we've done in the past. And it's shows like Mid-America Truck Show. Most recently, there's 2 shows in California besides ours that have been very popular and that we've been live streaming from them. And now, of course, we're going to be doing Truckin For Kids again this year. I hope we'll get some segments out there. But another opportunity and another way to connect with 10-4 Magazine is to connect with us every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. On Facebook or YouTube, I live stream the Studio 10-4 weekly update. So it's kind of, Shelley, what you're doing, but it's a vodcast. So
oh, very cool.
Yeah, we're doing video and audio, and we have guests from time to time. Last week we had Wayne Schooling, who's a contributor on the magazine that is just so full of information. I mean, as
He's
far
a
as
nice guy. We've talked to him before.
you talk to Wayne, God, he's great, man. He is
Very nice man.
just amazing. And his association, it's kind of a, and I mean, I hate throwing other comparables out there, but he's another, sort of a version of an OIDA kind of thing on steroids, honestly, I feel. And I was a member of OIDA. So, I have nothing but good things to say about OIDA, but I'd look over at NTA and get a good look at them. And Wayne is one of our presenting sponsors. So, there's a slew of things that we do on the show weekly. This Wednesday, we're going to have our current cover trucker, Dave Schroyer, is going to be on, and Dave's truck was actually shot back in 2009 by Eric Sieben, one of our co-founders, who passed away 3 years ago this month. And this is kind of an anniversary and a tribute both to Eric and his passing and his work. And this truck is one of his pieces that it's been in the can since 2009, if I'm not mistaken, is the date it was shot. It was first year of GBATS, which is the Guilty by Association truck show out at 4 State Trucks.
Yeah, we attended that last year. Very, very cool.
Well, and guess what? We've got it this year. We don't have it, but next year it's back. It went to an every other year deal. So we're excited. We'll be back out there as well. And of course, Brian and the Boss Man and the Chrome Shop Mafia guys, everybody out there in 10-4, just great supporters of one another. And we're glad to have them with us. They're going to be there with us at Truckin For Kids as a lane sponsor, as is Jeff Patella Customs. Each of them took on lane sponsorship for one of the lanes at the drags this year. So, there's just so many different angles and ways to connect the dots here of how 10-4 brings so much into Truckin For Kids with, all of the people that it's made itself family with over the years, over the almost 30 years it's been in business, to have it go and now be the owner and I don't know, the papa of Truckin For Kids. Let's face it, it's a parent. Great. We're the parent company of it. I mean, you just couldn't ask for a better fit. And then Truckin For Kids on its own has so many people that have been loyal sponsors and followers for 40 years. Bring that together. I just think you got nothing but success waiting to happen.
I totally agree. And being 10-4 magazine, how generous the trucking community is.
Man, I'll tell you, I don't think there's any group of people out there that are more patriotic, more spiritual, faith in their church, their families, their friends, the industry as a whole, and really wanting to keep it, as pure and Americana as possible, to its roots, to its core. And there's been people that say otherwise, and I'll tell you, you know what? There's always going to be opposition. That's just life. So we don't worry about that. There's people that have said things about Truckin For Kids, and you know what? We're done trying to say, hey, come on out and support us. You know what? People are supporting this show. They're showing up. The list has just gone, I think they finally kind of ran out of room here, and we're at pretty much capacity of what we can do with Truckin For Kids at Irwindale Speedway right now. So, all we want people to do, number one, I'm going to say it again, get pre-registered for the show. Get yourself in there and show up. Spectators, come on out Sunday, bring the kids, bring the family, everybody show up. It's going to be so much fun. Fingers crossed for good weather and a good time. We'll provide that. But the industry is just an incredible resource of people that want to give. There's so many truck shows this year, more than there ever has been.
It's
ever.
Like everybody decided it's time because they had so many cancellations,
Well, yeah, it wasn't just, come out of a pandemic and support the shows that we had to cancel. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, there's some shows that didn't make it. So we ended up a little short, but then I'll tell you, man, talk about overcompensating. There is more shows now this year than there's ever been. And even the smallest of shows are reaching out to us and saying, hey, can you help put the word out. And I'll give this little bit of news to anybody out there. Look, if you guys got a truck show and an event out there, first create a page or a group, something that supports your cause and your event. Number two, create an event on Facebook, a calendar event in that group or in that page that you've created, and I'll share that over onto the 10-4 Magazine Facebook page. And that way people, I mean, look, we got almost 300,000 people coming in over there and checking out what we got going on. We'd love to have your event there so they can get the latest information of what your event looks like, if it's happening, when it's happening, where it's happening, contact information, all of that stuff. So if you don't create the event, I can't share it and nobody's going to find out about it through us. So that's my best advice.
Good advice. Absolutely. Now, if people want to see the live streams that you folks have done in previous years for Truckin For Kids, is that 10-4 Magazine on Facebook? Is that where they would go? Or
that's the place to go. Absolutely. And we just started last year kind of populating our YouTube channel. But typically our live streams, now this has been in the past. I've recently made some changes on the equipment that I use, and I'll be introducing that next year in our live streams. It'll be YouTube and it will be Facebook, both simultaneously, I think, next year when we live stream. But right now, go to Facebook, 10-4 Magazine, our Facebook page, and you will see under videos and live streams everything we've done since I've been involved with 10-4 Magazine in capacity that I am now, going back to 2017. And that's when officially I started doing what I do with 10-4 Magazine. In fact, Mid-America Truck Show in Louisville. Looks like we're up against it. Are we good?
Well, if you had a few more words to say, that's
Yep, I do. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah,
absolutely.
Got about a minute.
Going back to 2017, showed up at Mid-America at Louisville, the Mid-America Truck Show, and I had my phone and a microphone. And I'm looking around, and I knew what I was going to do when I got there. There was nobody live streaming. Zero. Nobody. And 10-4 Magazine was the first one to bring that one out of the Pandora's box and start sharing what live streams were with an audience. And we've only grown it to the, amazing capacity since then. 5 years now. I mean, pretty amazing. And here we are. Our productions have certainly gotten bigger and better, and we only want to continue to do that. But pretty excited about that. And then, of course, the Studio 10-4 show live every Wednesday at 5 p.m. on Facebook and on YouTube.
Everyone needs to check that out, too.
Please.
You guys are pioneers. This is terrific. And you're taking over the reins of a wonderful truck show, the 41st annual Truckin For Kids Truck Show. We do have to go to break here. We're talking with John Testa from 10-4 Magazine. You're listening to the Truckers Network radio show on tncradio.live. Stay tuned for more coming up.
8 fun facts about truckers. It may be likely that when asked about your driving career and what all it involves, you're able to rattle off some answers like far from home, little sleep, heavy loads, big rigs, lots of waiting, gas stops and rest stops. But there is so much more to the freight industry that you should appreciate yourself for. Number 1, and so it began. A German-American blacksmith named Charles Fruoff invented the first tractor-trailer back in 1914. He needed a way to transport his boat. Number 2, now hiring. In the United States alone, 8.9 million people have a job in the trucking industry. 3.5 million of these are truck drivers. Number 3, the roots with a growing job. The trucking industry is soaring. Since this is a multi-billion-dollar industry, it's worth serious consideration as a stable career for anyone looking for an exciting change in job security. You go, girl. Only 6%, or a total of 234,000 truck drivers are women. Women are rarely the first to come to mind when we think about truck drivers, but these tough women are embracing the new family dynamics the pandemic has presented to all of us and taking on careers to keep their families and America rolling. Number 5, time to fuel up. There are about 15.5 million active trucks in the United States trucking industry, and the average commercial truck consumes over 20,000 gallons of fuel each year. Number 6, less pollution is the solution. Because of clean diesel technology, 60 modern-day trucks put out the equivalent emission of a single truck from 1988, and emissions from heavy trucks have been cut over 95% in the past 2 decades due to EPA regulations. Thank you, science. We can all breathe easier. Number 7, shoot for the stars. You'll land on the moon. There are close to 16 million active trucks in the United States, with over 3.5 million truckers behind the wheels. This means that if you could pile up the vehicles, they'd reach the moon. Number 8, home away from home. Truck drivers spend more than 240 nights away from home each year. Small business truckers drive more than 3 million miles in their lifetime, which breaks down to a yearly average of more than 115,000 miles.
It's Truckers Life Radio from TFC Global with your host, Ron Frazier. Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Here we're helping drivers as they travel life's highway. I love that. The spiritual side, drivers face a lot out on the road. Truckers Life Radio digs in on the spiritual and moral questions that drivers face on a daily basis. You don't want to miss it. Every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Welcome back to the Truckers Network radio show on TNCRadio.live. I'm Shelley Johnson with Tom Kelly, and we're talking with John Testa, the media administrator and sales manager for 10-4 magazine, about the 41st annual Truckin For Kids truck show that benefits the Shriners Children's Hospitals. That's coming up in September. I can't believe September's already here. Almost.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Wow. You know, John, you've been talking about all the activities. This is so terrific. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's for a great cause. You mentioned the show and shine competition. What are the categories this year? Do you have that handy? Or
Oh my gosh. You know, in the past, I mean, it could be anything from, best use of chrome to, furthest traveled to best paint. The model for the former group and how they generated their money for the charities was a little different than ours. So they had a lot of categories out there that, while it was so very cool to be so inclusive, boy, did it make for a long show at the end of the day of awards and getting all that stuff out there. And not only that, but you got to get to a point where everybody's been judged. So I think we've whittled it down a bit. And I think those trophies are going to be a little less in being handed out the way they have before. So my guys might have to work a little harder. There might be a few less classes, but no less appreciation from all of us at 10-4 and Truckin For Kids for everybody showing up. And I'll tell you, a lot of guys, I mean, there's a lot of guys that just show up. They pay, park their truck, and it's fun. It's all about having a good time.
right.
So we're hoping that continues. And this year, it's going to look a little different. I'm not going to lie. It is going to look a little different. And our editor, Dan Linz, and myself included, not that I'm having anything to do with the parking, but we're both a little bit OCD. So we like things lined up, squared, and perfect. You know what I mean?
But that's cool.
Yeah. Well, we certainly saw how it worked out this year at Mid-America, and what a great job J.C. Alt and all his gang did. Parking the trucks and getting everybody lined up. And I think you're going to have something similar to that, or at least along those lines of what it is to line trucks up and get them all looking good and separated, spaced out, and lined up the way they should be. So I'm looking forward to how that's going to work. So I hope that answers your question out there. And at the same time, hope it doesn't turn anybody away. Listen, just, you know what? Come on out. Have a good time, period.
Yes.
You never know what you're going to walk away with.
That's right. Oh, and truck shows are fun. No doubt about that.
Just got a text from our man, Dan, and People's Choice and Competitors' Choice is what we're doing. So, boy, did we whittle it down. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got Dan and Tim listening from down in SoCal, and they're eating barbecue somewhere down in Southern California while we're talking on the radio.
There you go. So where can people register? Where can people check everything out? Do they go to the 10-4 magazine website?
Absolutely. You can go to either 104magazine.com, and that's all spelled out, 104magazine.com, or you can go to truckinforkids.org. Either way, whatever you like. Or you can go to Facebook and you can click on the links that take you to those places. And you'll get a really kind of cool social media view of what's going on in both worlds, 10-4 Magazine and, of course, with Truckin For Kids. And as far as, the regular day-to-day stuff and what we do, I mean, my deal is I take care of posting all the stuff you guys see on Facebook, Instagram, and very recently, TikTok. So we've definitely got our TikTok channel going, and I hope you guys will check us out over there. Instagram, I know, is just so popular. People love going to Instagram and hanging out. Also, our group that we have on Facebook, it's called 10-4 Magazine Lounge. And what's cool about the group is that's a place for you guys to go. And I mean, anybody can go to 10-4 Magazine Lounge and hang out. Answer the questions. You answer the questions, you're in. That's simple. You don't answer the questions, and they're simple. Like, what's the best magazine out there for trucks? 10-4 Magazine, of course.
Exactly.
It's how simple is that? Are you going to follow the rules? You better. So, yeah, you're going to agree. And I think I got a couple other crazy questions in there, but answer them. You're in the group, and you can post and share pictures and video and do all that. It's a great place to hang out, especially for you guys that want to be out there talking to your buddies and sharing pictures of your stuff. And hey, listen, I ask for call outs all the time over on our Facebook for you guys to share stuff. Got to pay attention, because if you do, you might be in the running to win some stuff. So if you pay attention, do what I ask you to do on a post, whether it means sharing a picture of you, your truck, you and your truck, whatever the case may be, you might win something. We'd love to have you be able to do that.
Terrific. Sounds like you're having a lot of fun doing all of this.
Oh, I eat and breathe this stuff. So people that don't know me, I am one of you. And I met everybody at 10-4, Dan and Eric Siebens. They are the co-founder. They're the team that found this magazine back in 1993. I met them at a truck show in Stockton, California one year back in 2002. And I was showing a brand new truck that I had just put together. And Eric came up and gave me one of those Eric conversations, like, who are you and where do you come from and who do you know, kind of thing. And Dan was there with him, kind of shadowed a little bit by Eric. He was a big guy. And
the rest, they say, is history.
The rest, they say, is history, and
right.
Not breaking my arm, patting myself on the back, but I gave him some pointers back in 2010, got him started on social media, and now here's where we're really at. This is where we're at.
This is terrific. Thank you so much, John, for being on the show. We've been talking with John Testa, Media Administrator and Sales Manager for 10-4 Magazine. They're running the 41st Annual Truckin For Kids Truck Show. It benefits the Shriners Children's Hospitals. It's a great cause. It's coming up in September. Definitely check it out. It's in Irwindale, California. And check out 10-4 Magazine. I'm your host, Shelley Johnson, with Tom Kelly. Stay tuned for more great stuff on tncradio.live. Thank you for listening to another great interview on tncradio.live and the Truckers Network Radio Show. All of the material you hear on tncradio.live, on our website, our broadcasts, or our podcasts are copyrighted. There can be no distribution without the express consent of tncradio.live and its partners. For inquiries, write us at info@tncradio.live. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast of the Truckers Network Radio Show. 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 Truckers Network Radio Show.